Hey everyone, it's Megan with Sawgrass, and thanks so much for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon. I don't know why, it just feels like it's been a long time since I've seen you guys, and it's only been a week. So I want to thank you all for joining us, and as many parents know, and I'm sure it's the time of year that many parents have counted down to, we are headed back to school. Down here in the South and South Carolina, students have already started heading back. I know up north it's going to be another week or two before that starts. So we were looking at some trends online currently, and studies are now showing that teachers' gifts have increased in search engines by quite a bit since last year. So we figured, why not give you an easy gift you can create at home right before your child goes back to school, or to give to their teacher on maybe the second week of school if they're already back. The best part is it's an item you don't even have to wait for. These are socks that I found at my local Michael's store that are 98% polyester. So we're going to be using them and doing the bottom of the foot writing trend that's been hot for a few years on social media. And as you all know, as always, I am monitoring your questions and comments on Facebook via my phone. So if you have any, please let me know, and I would love to hear them. Personally, I'm making these socks for my favorite teacher, and it's somebody who I've never actually had as a teacher. My little sister is a kindergarten teacher, and by far she is my favorite teacher. I would love to see her in action in a classroom. So I'm going to make these socks and send them over to her up north. So thank you to her and for all of our teachers who are hardworking. Alex's wife, she's a teacher as well, and she's awesome. So let's get started and head into our creative studio. So we'll go to the Start Creating section, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to design this on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, because two reasons. One, these are socks that we do not have in our creative studio because they are not from one of our dealers. Number two, we're not designing on the side of the sock, we're designing on the bottom part of the sock. So I'm going to pull up the 8.5 by 11 portrait sheet of paper. And normally what I do is I use a premium design with a free font. We're going to switch it up today. I'm going to use a font that I've uploaded from my computer, which is a premium feature, with elements of free designs. So we're going to kind of swap it up and make it a little bit different today. So let's start off with our font. So I'm going to go to the text section, and I'm going to go to Uploaded. For those of you who don't know, who have never uploaded your own fonts before, the way to upload your own font is to go to Text, go to Uploaded, and click on Upload Fonts. Then it'll pull up your desktop. You can figure out what folder you want to use and upload your font from there. The two fonts that I'm going to use, I already have loaded into the system. I'm going to first use this one. The name I am not even going to attempt to pronounce because it looks like it's difficult to say. So let's start off with this. I went online, found a quote that seemed like a really cute one that a lot of teachers would probably like, specifically the ones that teach young students. So I'm going to type in, and then so it takes as my first line. This is the type of font that goes in all caps, regardless of how you type it in. And I'm going to be using the wrap feature in Creative Studio, where all I have to do is press the return button, and it automatically takes me to the next line without having to do a separate row of text and line it up. So it takes big, and now I'm going to go over to Good Feeling Script. And I'm going to type in heart. So it takes a big heart. And what I want to do is I want to play off of that word heart. It's not only emphasized in our fonts, but I want to emphasize it with an image. So I'm going to go to Elements, and I'm going to go to Shapes, and I'm going to select this heart right here. It looks like in the comments, my Aunt Karen, who watches every week, says hi. Hi, Aunt Karen. She's not feeling well. Feel better. So it takes a big heart, and I'm going to select that, make it a little bit bigger, move it up a little bit. It's going to check and see what my measurements are looking like. So it's a little bit bigger than I want it to be. I'm just going to shrink it down a little bit. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this font, duplicate it, and bring it down here. And I'm going to write to shape little. I'm going to take this font, it's already how I want it. Bring it down here, minds. So it takes a big heart to shape little minds. And now I'm going to go to elements, going to go to our school section. Again, everything you find in the elements tab is free to use. And I'm going to go with this design that's kind of got a lot of stuff in it. So it takes a big heart to shape little minds. Okay, I'm going to select all, just shrink it up just a little. It is on the bottom of the sock, so I don't want it to be too big and run into the heel section. So now I have this the way I want it, and I'm going to go to print. I have my printer set up, mirrored. I want this to be polyester and vivid. Okay, now a secondary SPM screen will pop up. And we're going to click print. So, while that's printing, one thing we want to do is first take a look at our socks. As you can see, the way they are pressed and laid out are sideways with a crease in the middle, and then we have the heel and the toe a different color. So I want to make sure when I press this that this bottom area is flat and emphasized so that we press it the right way and there's no crease in our design. So I'm going to take a piece of foam that I've cut in the shape of a sock, and I'm going to put it in the sock to flatten out the middle section. I'm just going to make sure that it is centered. There you go. So as you can see, that line kind of disappears, and now my bottom of my sock is flat and emphasized the way that we want it. So now I'm going to take my design, make sure everything fits here, and it looks like it does. Perfect. And I'm going to just cut this in half so I can press these one at a time, since I only have one piece of foam cut out in the shape of a sock. All right, so now I'll head over to my heat press, and I'm going to lay down a sheet of blowout paper first. Hi, Alicia. Alicia says hi. Then I'm going to Jordana says that she can't use her Mac, the software is not working. Jordana, I would recommend that you contact our support team on our support site. That is supportdesk.sawgrassinc.com. They should be able to take a look at your computer and figure out what the issue may be and get you up and running in no time. So what I'm going to do here is, because the sock is so small and there's really no edging to it, I'm just going to tape my design sheet down to my blowout paper so that it doesn't move. There we go. And to be safe, I'm also going to tape my sock down to my blowout paper so that it doesn't move either. Okay. Now I'm going to put a sheet of blowout paper on top. And we are pressing this at 385 degrees for 45 seconds on a medium pressure. And when that comes out, what we'll go ahead and do is we will swap out that padding and put it into our next sock and press the other sock as well. Quiet group today, so if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Happy to help. Maybe everybody is just getting their kids ready to go back to school. All right, we have about 5 seconds left until we can take this out. Put this down there. Okay, so here is sock number 1. So what we're going to do is quickly take out this foam padding and insert it into our second sock. So let's get this out. Jordana, another great question. She wants to know if I can use my Cricut Easy Press with socks. You definitely can try. I'm going to tell you that the only issue with the Easy Press you could come up with is that you're going to have to try to find a way to regulate the pressure on it. So I would definitely try it. There's a really good chance you'll be able to do it no problem, but I would run an experiment just to make sure. You can get the proper time with it, you can get the proper temperature. It's that pressure that you might have to maybe press on it a little bit, but I don't think you'll have much of a problem. Okay, second sock is loaded up and ready to go. There we go. Jordana says she's going to try and let us know. Jordana, please let us know, because that's really good information that we would like to share with our other users as well. So we would love to get that information from you. You can send us a message on our Facebook page in the messages section. I run that part of our Facebook page, and I would love to hear from you. So again, we are taping down the paper, taping down our sock. And once again, we are pressing this at 385 degrees for 45 seconds. So as I said, a lot of people really looking up teachers' gifts this time of year. I know for down here, this week for the most part was when students started school, so it might feel a little bit late, but it's not, because up north they have yet to start. Does that die not transfer on the second sock from the first design? Lucille, I'm not really sure what you're asking. It's two different designs. I used one sheet of paper, cut it in half. There's one design, then a second. And so is that what you're asking? If you could be more specific about your question, that'd be great, because I love to be able to help you and anybody else who might have a very similar question. Okay, and here is the outcome of our second sock. So what I'll do is, in a second, I will hold these up next to each other and you can see the full the full saying together. Oh, Lucille's talking about from the foam insert. That's a great question, Lucille. The answer is no, because this ink is not leaking through to the foam. This ink is being trapped on the surface of this sock. So no, that's not going to be a problem here. So let me take this out. Yep, and as you can see here, if you want to, there is no ink on this foam, because when you're pressing on a polyester fabric, the ink does not leak through to the other side, so that's why you're not going to see any issues here. So let me make sure that I'm holding this the right way I'm trying to think, it's mirrored. Is this the right way, Sebastian? Or does it look backwards to you? This is the right way? Okay. So, it takes a big heart to shape little minds. That is on the bottom of this pair of socks. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could go the extra step and you could put maybe an education pattern on the top end of the sock or on the top of the foot of the sock if you want to get really creative. We do have in our background section of Creative Studio, in our backgrounds tab, we do have education designs. I can pull them up here just so you can see. It's under school. And there are a few designs you could use. Backgrounds like this are great for items like socks because it has the ability to cover the entire width of the sock. So it looks like one giant pattern together. So the socks are a really great item to put a background on. Sabrina Guidetti says, hi. Sabrina was one of our, Sabrina, I want to say you were a silver medalist from our sublimation Olympics that we did last week. So congratulations to Sabrina and all of the winners that we have. That was an awesome competition that we ran. Sharon wants to know what type of press we have. I cannot say because it would be showing like a favoritism toward a specific brand. But if anybody in the comments knows what it is, they can share that information, or if you have a heat press that you recommend. I just personally can't be vocal about it, just so you know. So, any other questions that you have, I will let you know that tomorrow in Creative Studio we will have a new featured designer being released. His company name is Typealicious. It's all hand lettering designs. Very cool, very chic, and those will be launching tomorrow. We also have a new podcast launching tomorrow. Yay! I am talking to Jackson, who is the president of Vapor Apparel. So Jackson from Vapor Apparel will be joining me on the podcast tomorrow, talking all about their green initiative when it comes to making products for sublimation. I talk a little bit about Sawgrass's green initiatives as well, and it's a really interesting podcast because we also tell you how you can market items to your customers that are green-friendly items. So that's a really great podcast. You're not going to want to miss that. So be sure to tune into that. We have our podcast on a bunch of different platforms. We are on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, and SawgrassInc.com. Those are all the places you can find our Ink Differently podcast. What else? I am not sure. I think that's pretty much everything we have to cover. If you have any questions, again, please let me know. I can stick around for a few more minutes and answer any questions anybody has. Also, if you're new to sublimation or just want to learn more about sublimation, be sure to head to our free Sawgrass Academy. That is academy.sawgrassinc.com. There we have videos all the way from how to do sublimation to how to use specific Sawgrass products, all the way to how to build a business using sublimation. Great name for that one. It's called Business Builder. And we released a new class last week all about the wedding market and sublimation. Jimmy Lamb does those classes. They are great. There are visual walkthroughs. There are printouts you can use. Highly recommend our Sawgrass Academy. Again, that's free to use at academy.sawgrassinc.com. Well, if there are no questions, then I will let you all return to your Wednesday afternoon. Hopefully it is not rainy. And we will be back once again next week. So thank you all so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye.